2024. Thank you all for coming out. I am State Representative Beth Canty. We have Cook County Commissioner Scott Britton with us. And welcome to Weathering Through Winter.
Clever name.
Thank you. I really believe that was a Pat special, so she's pretty clever. And we obviously chose the right day for it. So with a snowstorm, it's pretty good. But I am very thankful to everybody who be a part of this. So we have the Prospect Heights Police Department, we have ComEd, we have thank you also to the Prospect Heights Library for letting us take over their space this afternoon. So did you have any words you wanted to say?
Only that it is always very positive to me when we get to partner with our good friends, particularly Rep. Canty, and all those people who represent the north and northwest suburbs. We do a lot of stuff together. I know everybody now because I've been around a while, and to be able to do this together is always, I think, incredibly productive and a lot of fun. So thank you.
I think so too. And I love working with our municipal partners. So Prospect Heights is one of my favorites. They are always so helpful, and they are recording this session, which will be wonderful for everybody who wasn't able to make it in person. So with that, I am going to look to our first speaker, Officer Sophia Triovolas. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Perfect. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for being here, and the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. I'm Officer Triovolas, and I'm going to be giving you guys some helpful tips on winter safety and car safety, and little reminders of things that we should all keep in mind and do. And let's see. Okay, so obviously winter is coming. So
we're not laughing at you.
no, I don't take it personal. Things that we should do to prepare ourselves for the temperatures is preparing your vehicle, focusing on driving skills, submit a vacation watch, and preparing your home. So obviously these little tips seem self-explanatory. How to dress for chilly weather. You're like, well, of course, we're all adults. We know how we should dress. But not always do we prepare for what could come if something bad happens, in the event that you think, I'm just going to run to the grocery store, and we leave the house with a sweater and our vehicles maybe have very little gas in them, and you just can't predict what might or might not happen. So overdressing is usually better because you can take layers of clothing off, but you can't always add layers of clothing if you need them, in the event that you get into an accident or you're stranded or you run out of gas and you need to keep warm. So preparing your vehicle, these are some minor things to consider. Always make sure that you have a full tank of gas. Install a remote starter, engine block heaters, snow tires. Always have a cell phone with you, making sure that you have a charger or that it's fully charged. Check lights and wipers, check fluid levels, check your battery, and emergency kits. So, things that you should always consider keeping in your vehicle. First aid kits, jumper cables, tire chains, flares, water, snacks, flashlights, warm clothes, gloves, emergency blankets, a tow rope, shovel, scraper, bag of sand or kitty litter, and hand warmers. We never really think about the things that we don't need, and we have a checklist that we can give you guys that you can make sure that you also check off and see what you do and don't have. Making sure that you have batteries as well. So if you do have flashlights, make sure that the batteries are working. First aid kits fully stocked. If you do have any snacks, just make sure that expiration dates are often checked and that everything is up to date. A lot of things that we can have, though I personally have warmers, so like electrical warmer stuff. You can go on Amazon, they're like $10, $12, $15. You can have hand warmers that you can charge with a port with a car charger. Those are nice to have, they're convenient, they're useful. Electrical blankets as well. So in the event that you are stranded, you can just have those rolled up I have like a tiny little bin in my trunk with all of these items inside. You just never know when you're gonna need them. But the nice thing is that you can just plug them straight into your car and it provides you with warmth, especially if you have pets or kids in the vehicle. It's good to have those for little ones too. So winter driving. So The best advice for driving in bad winter weather is to not drive at all. If you don't, if you don't have to go anywhere and it's not emergent, just don't drive if you don't have to. Don't put yourself at risk. Don't put others or even plow trucks. A lot of people tend to, not be mindful of when a plow truck is coming through and we don't really know where they're going. So trying to surpass a plow truck is kind of dangerous in itself because they go up and down. They don't, have turn signals or anything that they're going to use when they're plowing the snow. It's unpredictable and they do need a lot of space. So let's see. So if you have to, obviously make sure that your car is prepared and that you know how to handle road conditions. Make sure that you clean all the snow and ice off of your car, and this includes windshields and the back window, headlights, and taillights. So some driving tips: decrease your speed and leave room to stop your vehicle. Do not slam on your brakes. Gently brake so you can avoid skidding. Turn on lights for more visibility. Clean off your cars. This means the windows and lights as well. If equipped, use low gears, especially on hills. Do not use cruise control. Keep in mind bridges and shaded areas freeze first, and don't pass snow plows. Always take your foot off the accelerator to avoid skidding. Steer in the directions that you want the front tires or wheels to go. So if your rear wheels are sliding to the left, steer to the left. If they are sliding to the right, steer to the right. If your rear wheels start sliding the other way as you recover, ease the steering wheel toward that side. You may have to steer left and right a few times in order to gain control of your vehicle. If you have standard brakes, pump them gently. If you have ABS, it creates that jerking motion by itself, so just try to control the steering wheel, keep it straight, and of course try not to panic in that situation. More tips. So basically, like I said, try to gain traction, steering in the direction that you want to go, and yeah, releasing the clutch, accelerating gently. And again, these are just tips that in the event that you do need to go out in bad weather and it's unpredictable, make sure that you know how to drive and that your vehicle is prepared for it, as we often don't prepare for skidding situations and losing control of the vehicle. If you ever get stuck, don't spin your wheels. Turn your wheels from side to side a few times to push the snow out of the way. Lightly accelerate to ease your car out. Use a shovel to clear snow. This is where a shovel comes in handy. You can always keep a little one. It doesn't have to be, a huge shovel in the car, but something that you can scrape snow out. Snow is not always fluffy and soft. Sometimes it freezes over. So that's what causes you to get stuck. Use sand, salt, or kitty litter. Gravel. So this comes in handy if you keep a bag of it in your car. You can always throw it on the rear of the tires to help with traction and getting out. Another thing you can do, which I have had to resort to, I have like little towels in my car, so I've laid those down. That helped get me out too, because I don't really have cat litter or salt in my vehicle. That I will say I do not have. So if all else fails, try rocking the vehicle, and sometimes usually, other people are good. If they see someone that's stuck, they'll come out and they'll try to help you too. But shift forward to reverse, back and forth. Each time you are in forward gear, lightly press and accelerate until the vehicle moves. Do not overexert yourself. I used to own that car. So,
Quick question about the traction button on the automatic vehicles.
Yes.
Do you press that as soon as you start out in this kind of weather, or wait until you're in trouble? It's a traction button saying that the car will increase its traction in icy conditions.
I think you have to activate that.
So you do press
Yeah,
it
you don't, yeah,
ahead of
if
time.
you're in trouble, then I think that might be too late.
Too late.
Yeah, you want to have that activated, because I think you turn it on and then it just lets the vehicle know in the event that it does slide that you want it to gain control.
And if we're on a hill and the car is already on an angle, do we steer or wait to see which way the car goes? When it's going backwards, because you can't go forward and all of a sudden it's going on an angle instead of being straight? Does one break? Does one steer? Does one wait?
A little bit of both. That's when you kind of gauge it. I mean, if you're seeing that you're losing control, sometimes if you just brake and then the car starts to slide,
Right.
make sure you keep your wheels straight, depending on where you
them
have
straight,
it.
okay.
Yeah, because if you brake, then the car sliding, it's just gravity taking, you know, its way down. Now, if you do find yourself that it's not stopping, another thing you can do is just slightly pump the brakes, steer in the direction you want to go, and then always apply the emergency brake as well. You have
Still
that
do
as,
that, okay.
yes, yeah, you have that as an option too.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name's Dan Peterson. I'm the director of the building department for the city of Prospect Heights. And so I'm going to talk a little bit today about preparedness of the home and tips we can do to get ready in case we have those emergencies where you're stuck in your house for a while. As great as ComEd is, sometimes the storm takes precedence over their skill and expertise and bring powers down. Same with the other utilities. For example, last year I spent 4 days without electricity in the
No.
middle of winter. They did their job,
You
but
live in Prospect Heights?
no, this
Oh,
was
okay.
where I live. It's
They don't
out
let this
in the
happen in
country,
Prospect Heights.
but their response rates are great. They do great work. But sometimes ice, Mother Nature does wreak havoc, you know, and so we need to be prepared to take care of ourselves. And there's some steps we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk a little bit about your heating system, because most people don't understand how that works. And sometimes when it gets too cold, they want to jack the thermostat higher and higher. But in the Chicagoland area, if it's below -4 degrees, you can turn that thermostat all the way up. It's not going to necessarily give you more heat. In the Chicagoland area, in all heating systems have a design temperature. And according to the national codes, average systems are designed to produce 68 degrees Fahrenheit in a home at -4 degrees. Okay? Most modern systems can get you a little more heat, but you know, we get heat complaint calls, well, it's 60 degrees and my furnace is set at 80. Well, it's -12 outside. You're never going to keep up. So having an understanding of how your system, mechanical system works, helps you plan and prepare and have the other equipment you need in your house to weather the storm. So, and the international codes and the code development cycles, they do a lot of research on this stuff to make sure that we understand how we can help ourselves. One of the things we need to do is most people don't understand the different types of winter storms, okay, and winter advisories. One of the big things you need to do is know what to expect in a given situation. Today's event was originally a winter storm warning that was downgraded to a winter weather advisory this morning as the temperature stayed higher, but now they're transitioning back to a possible winter warning this afternoon. So typically a winter storm warning comes out 12 to 24 hours in advance of the storm, so you have time to prepare, time to do your final shopping, get your stuff together so that you don't have to be on the roads when the storm is hitting. Storm watch means that, yeah, there's a possibility, we don't know for sure where it's going to go, but be ready. If you have to get out even earlier, get out even earlier. An advisory says that you are going to get it, we just don't know how much, but these are the things that you can get. There are also, the Red Cross has a great website that gives you some other tips on predicting the weather and steps you can take to prepare yourself and others. Now, let's talk before the storm, because there's a lot of things that you can do as a homeowner to be in the best possible position to weather the storm. One of those is make sure you've got a contact list of emergency numbers, your utilities, your service providers. You know, if you have someone who services your furnace, does your plumbing, your water heater, have those phone numbers in a good spot, because you don't want to be searching for a contractor in the middle of the storm because there's other people who are going to be doing the same thing. You want to know where those numbers are. Make sure you have personal contacts, family, friends, relatives, things around that can help you should you need that. Number two, this is a much overlooked area that causes a lot of damage in winter storms, and that's clogged gutters. Why? The snow will melt, the water comes in the gutters, they freeze, and the ice gets up underneath the shingles, and then now you start getting water dripping inside your house, you start getting other problems with your structure. Also too, it could cause other blockages and then flooding on your steps, which is slip and fall and trip hazards, which you don't want. I advise all the residents when they call me, have your heating system serviced in September and October. So you know going into the winter season that it's been cleaned, checked, filters are replaced, it's working at its best possible condition. Make sure this is an area, chimney, flues, pipes inspected for blockages or clean. Squirrels, birds, leaves, sticks, all those things can block those chimney, those flue pipes, and those are necessary for equipment to work properly. Especially there's fires and things that happen, and when people start burning wood fires in their houses, and all of a sudden the smoke can't get out of the chimney because it's blocked by a raccoon's nest or squirrels, and then you got smoke coming back, carbon monoxide, other hazards and dangers, and potential fire in those areas. So have them checked. Make sure you winterize water pipes on exterior walls. Modern codes today move plumbing off of exterior walls. However, with an older community such as Prospect Heights and some others that have older houses, your water lines are on those exterior walls. Those homes were also not insulated as well as today's houses are, and those pipes have a tendency to freeze. Also too, taking your exterior faucets, disconnecting the hoses, because that's one of the biggest issues of frozen pipes and cracked pipes, is the water freezes in the hoses, freezes that faucet, which freezes the inside of the pipe. When it bursts, now if you haven't shut it off or drained it, you have water in your house. Check all your carbon monoxide and smoke detectors. Assess your doors and windows for caulking, weather stripping. Try and eliminate drafts and places so you can preserve whatever heat you have in the house to stay warm during those emergency events. Gather supplies, flashlights, batteries, radios, or food. Most of us live electronically today. However, in the rare event the power goes out, and that flashlight, it doesn't give you a warning if it's on the one that it goes out. So you should still have that emergency kit with the old-fashioned batteries to get you through. I always advise people do not use candles for lighting or what they think is an accessory heat source. They're not efficient, they're not effective, and they can tend to cause other problems. Fires when they're knocked off of on the carpeting or drapes. Some of the cheaper candles have high carbon content, which is not healthy. Make sure that you have food. And that means food that you can prepare without necessarily having to use a stove or a microwave for that. Some packaged, ready to eat food. Make sure you have plenty of water. The average adult needs a gallon of water per day. So plan for 3 days being without food or water. Okay, and that's and not everybody goes through that much, but you should have it for bathing, for food, just staying healthy. Make sure you learn signs and basic treatment for frostbite and hypothermia. Alternate heat sources. I get that question all the time. Well, can I put one of those little LP Mr. Buddy heaters in my house? No. They are high producers of carbon monoxide and very dangerous. They also operate off an open flame, which is a severe fire hazard. People do it all the time. I cringe every time I hear people saying they're using it. If you have to, make sure you have windows open, you get ventilation, which defeats the purpose of having a portable, that type of a heater. If you do use a space heater, it should be an electric space heater. It should be UL listed and labeled for that, so it's designed for the purpose you're using it for. There are some really good electronic oil heaters that look like radiators. And you plug them in, you get them up to temperature before the storm hits. That's great. What kept me warm is I have 2 TV stands that are electric fake fireplaces, but they generate enough heat to keep a 400 square foot room warm up to temperature. So I was able to keep that going. If you hear of anybody using their stove, it's a critical life safety issue because of the carbon monoxide dangers and also the fire. So that should be not used to keep them warm. So again, keep your thermostat set for 65 to 68. That'll be plenty warm with layering of clothes and other things, and it won't put a strain on your furnace. Okay, and that's the biggest thing. It's also warm enough to keep your pipes from freezing. Open cabinet doors where plumbing fixtures are located. Why? The radiant heat comes in. If you've got a wooden door in a cabinet that's blocking that there and it's getting the cold off the wall, if you open it up, now the warm air has a chance to circulate around that pipe and keep it free from freezing. Keep doors, run water to flow in pipes. And I mean a small trickle. You don't have to turn the faucet on. If it's extremely cold and you're worried about your pipes freezing, you can open up the faucets and let them trickle just to keep flow through there so it keeps them from freezing solid. Doors, windows, keep closed, especially garage doors. Your door between your attached garage and your house is probably the least insulated door of the house. And then also most garages don't have a heat source to temper the air. So you're getting all that blasted cold air through into your house. If you use an alternate heat source, flat, smooth surface, keep away from walls, drapery, try not to put them on carpet. Simple safety tips. If you use a fireplace, which are great, make sure that it's been checked, serviced, the flue's clean. You have an adequate supply of good wood, not the wet leaves and sticks of the fall. Most people do have a good supply of oak or hardwoods that they use. Always use a spark arrestor screen around it because wood will crack, pop, and we'll get that. We all love that sound on a campfire, but not in your house. Again, food and water, I plan for 3 days minimum. And then also to account for all your pets as well in that equation. Some people I've talked to, their pets are better supplied than they are for emergencies. But this is important. Check in and with the family, friends, and neighbors. That's your life source and the immediate reaches is your immediate family, your closest neighbors. They're the ones that can get there the quickest to help, usually in those situations. Especially if you have friends or neighbors or family that are disabled, have some mental illnesses, or have the inability to care for themselves. It's one of those things that we ask people to take care of all the time. Know how to shut your water off in your house. In the event that a water pipe does freeze and it starts bursting, you have to be able to shut that water off at the valve in the house so it doesn't create additional damage. Use some generators. I used my generator for 3.5 days. I've got a spot out on my back deck, away from windows, away from doors. I have plenty of extension cords to keep my refrigerator and some simple lights running. Outside and protected from the elements. You should not have it open to the snow because it's generating electricity. You're stepping in wet snow, you go to touch the cord or that, you could be shocked. So you never want to fill a gas generator when it's running. Make sure it's shut off when you fill it up. That's a safety issue. And so here's some more tips specifically on generator usage. They're very effective. They've gotten a lot more efficient. There's generators out there that run off electrical, off of propane, off of regular gas. Combination units. They've even got generators that you can get at your hardware stores and other supplies houses that will run wells, have enough capacity to run your water system. So, but all of that should be done beforehand and learn how to use it. In general too, if residents ever need or have questions on it, we're always available to answer those questions. We will come out to folks' houses, talk to them, and we try to put this information in regularly in our newsletters. So just be safe. The folks over at the utilities are absolutely wonderful in responding should things go bad, and be safe. Thank you very much.
Thank you to our amazing two speakers. We also have some representatives here from ComEd and from Nicor, and so I will invite you up if you would like to come and speak to the folks here. I know that there were a lot of notes being taken, so it's always good to know who it is that you're going to be speaking with when you call the hotel.
Great, thank you. Good afternoon, Happy New Year to the community of Prospect Heights and surrounding communities. My name is Gerardo Delgado with Nicor Gas. Thank you, Representative Canty, for the opportunity to be at today's forum. In addition to being here on site to provide some information about our various products and services, just wanted to give some points of contact to the community. Nicor Gas is committed and stands ready to help meet the needs of our customers, especially during this winter season. With that said, safety is paramount, and safety involving our customers and employees. So if there's, during this time period or any time, there's an emergency involving gas service, please contact 888-642-6748. Again, that's 888-642-6748. And 911, once you're in a safe place already from the area that's suspected of a gas leak. Again, we are here to provide various resources to our customers. And part of that is also providing assistance with bill payment as well as other assistance when it comes to energy efficiency needs. So you can contact, we have a department dedicated that you can contact to help understand on what services you can qualify for and receive to, again, help meet those needs. You can contact 877-886-4239. That is our Community Connection Center. Again, that number is 877-886-4239. And you can visit us on our website, which provides a host of various information and tips on how to be energy efficient, and also, again, hear about the various programs that we have, that we offer, in addition to subsidies and support that the government offers. You heard a lot about today, especially with weatherization. One of the kits that we provide tools that you could place and put in your home and begin that preparation while and during the winter season, and obviously through the months that exceed. So again, I've left with these tips and contact information. We are available at all times. Please do not hesitate to reach out to us. And if there's anything we can do, we are here to serve. So thank you again.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Folks in Prospect Heights. I'm Michael Henry from ComEd. First thing I'm going to start out with is, I can prove to you I'm from ComEd. I have this. And the reason I want to say that is because how many folks have had people walking down the street with these on and a clipboard saying, hey, I'm from ComEd, do you want to save on your energy? They're not from ComEd. Believe it or not, we don't sell electricity. We won't call your house and we won't ask you for a payment in any certain way. So you'll get a call. Mary Beth Canty, we see that you owe $200. So here's what I want you to do. Go and get a prepaid, listen carefully, prepaid card, and you can pay with that. But don't call that number that's showing up on your phone, because you know that's the general number. I want you to get me so I can give you some special attention. That's a red flag. We do not ask you to pay in a certain way, especially if they're asking you to go and get an untraceable prepaid card. That's the first red flag. Second red flag, do you have your bill? Go and get your bill. Give me your account number. That's all they want is your account number, because I guarantee you next month when you look at your bill, you will no longer have ComEd as your service provider. You'll have whoever they're representing. That's scam number 2. And the last one is, we won't ask you for any personal information. Your PIN. We won't ask for your social security number or anything private. By the way, we're ComEd. We already got your account number. So we shouldn't be asking you for that information. There's a magnet on my table that you can take, put it on your refrigerator. I had this from my mother. I'm like, Mom, if you get a call, look at this first before you answer any questions. And I think somebody here said, I just hang up. I don't talk to them. However way you want to handle it, the number is really easy to remember. 1-800-EDISON-1. Now that's your one-stop number. You can call that for anything. Now, the second part of what I'm going to talk to you about, we got a storm coming in. These storms are very dangerous because it's very heavy, very wet. Although we invest in tree trimming, we want to come and make sure the trees that are touching the lines are taken away so they're not interfering. But first we're getting that heavy slush. Then we're going to get the heavy snow. It's going to freeze. These trees can topple over. If you experience a down power line, don't go near it. Call us, 1-800-EDISON-1. If you want to know about the outage and you want to follow up with it, I know I got 2 kids that are gone away. They're in college. I always get them to help me with my electronics. And what I'm about to say, you might say, I don't want to do that. There's an app you can put on your phone, the ComEd app, and you can report the outage directly from your phone. As a matter of fact, if you don't want to do that, you can text 63333, and you will get a response, and you can sign up for updates. They'll follow up with you on that. Finally, you may see trucks. They're out, and they're driving around. Don't get concerned. They're not running for a coffee break, and they're not looking for a place to hide. They're looking for the outage. It may not be in your yard directly. They're looking for it. The first thing we want to do is pick up the transmission lines. Those are the very high tension lines. Then we want to get the distribution lines, right? And after we do that, if your lights are still out, first and foremost, we want you to call, but we'll know it because we've got smart meters at every home and business. And what we do after we pick up an area, we send a signal to your meter. Each meter in that affected area. If it doesn't respond, then we send someone to your house. Now, Representative Canty has been on a tour of our Operation Control Center. It's in Joliet. Believe it or not, all the way out in Joliet, they see the whole territory. And so that's how we dispatch.
It looks like Space Command.
It does. It does. So today, safeguard yourself, and I think the gentleman talked about you don't want candles because we live in a space age now. You want to charge up your iPads and everything else. And definitely, if you got kids in the house, make sure their electronics are charged up. Otherwise, you'll have to deal with them. So if you have an outage, and we hope you don't, but in these type of storms, we know it's coming. We are prepared. We're on a 24-hour schedule now. We've got enhanced crews. Some of the crews we sent home early last night so they can get in early today. Some crews will be going home early today so they can come back tonight. So we'll be working round the clock. 1-800-EDISON-1. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I know we've been kind of asking questions throughout, but I don't want anybody to miss an opportunity to ask any questions.
I do. I find a lot of my new immigrant neighbors have a very difficult time on the phone with representatives from the utilities. Is there any reason you've made it completely impossible to meet a human that works for the gas company, works for the electric company, works for the water company, and forced them on telephone conversations that are completely difficult in a second language? What was the business strategy?
So with Nicor Gas, I do work for the Energy Efficiency Department, so we have a 1-800 language line, and I believe we service about 14-ish different languages, and that ranges from Spanish to Italian, Polish. So we haven't experienced that problem, and we also have a pretty diverse department. However, in customer care, they do offer this same service. So if you have anyone that you know who may be having difficulty, just ask them to speak with a representative in their native tongue. They can put them through.
Right, they also have difficulty understanding the waiting period, you know, that, or do you want us to call back? And they don't even understand, what do you mean you're going to call me back? But they're not talking to anybody because it's an automated voice that's telling them that in another language, you know? So there's a lot of wait times that they find confusing. So what was the strategy not to have any offices or humans available for the people you serve? Did they ever tell you that?
So I can talk to you about the strategy of making sure that we service everybody. Doesn't matter what color, what nationality, it doesn't matter. We've got translators, and yes, we do have an automated system, but there is a way, there's a prompt where you can talk to a person. Should you get a person, and that person is not helpful, we encourage you to call back and ask for a supervisor. That person should say, I'll give you a translator. Now granted, if you're speaking a foreign tongue, I may not know
Right.
which translator to get, but I'll get a supervisor and find a way to service you. We want to service every home and business in Northern Illinois.
So we don't know why there are no offices available for people to come and see another human regarding services of utilities. There used to be, but then they were all closed, but they never told anybody why.
I think, like was said earlier, we had not encountered that inquiry, but we're here today, so we're happy to take in your information, because I don't know who that company would be, but I'm pretty sure we're all here to support those in need. So if there's a way that we can be that bridge for
You
your
better have a
utility,
phone.
sure.
Yeah, you better have a phone.
I like to do a part two, and I see you, I know you want your answer. I've been with the company when my hair was dark.
When you had hair?
When I had hair, I've been there for 43 years, and we saw a decrease in the amount of people who came in to be serviced.
There you
So
go.
it didn't make sense to have a place where you can come and pay. As a matter of fact, over the years, you will
Oh,
see
yeah, that's right.
people
Hey.
don't even, a lot of people don't even mail bills. They do everything electronic. So it didn't make sense for you as a customer to bear the burden of that cost, to pay for folks to sit there waiting for someone to come in. And we're getting to that point now where we want to service customers the way they want to be serviced. And that was not one of the ways they wanted to be serviced. Excuse me.
The problem is trying to get a human. They keep giving you these prompts, and the prompts are not something I want.
Right.
And then they keep repeating the same prompts over and over and over. And how do you, I'm a senior, I worked 40 years, never used a computer or a cell phone, now I'm learning. But I'm not comfortable with computers because I've gone to classes and I know just enough not to push because I might be on a fake website. So I prefer to do things on the phone. But trying to get a human, it's all prompts. And now I've used the callback system and it's great. You leave your name and number and they call you back, it's great. But just trying to get a human, when I do finally get a human, if they are from another country, I just say, I'm sorry, your accent is very heavy, give me somebody in America. You have to wait and you get good service. But it's trying to get a human through all those prompts. That's a problem today.
So all of our service centers are located here in Northern Illinois. The major one is in Oak Brook. We also have another one in Chicago. So you will not be talking to folks in another country. It should be someone that's local. And the 800-334-7661, you should be able to get through to a live person. Now granted, on a day like today, possibly tonight, if they're inundated and we have some serious outages, you may have a wait period, but on a normal basis, you should be able to get through. As a matter of fact, I'm tempted to pick up my phone now and test our hypothesis, but I will take that back because I meet with our folks in customer services once a month.
Yeah, and that customer experience is very a priority to the utility at Nicor Gas. And so we certainly appreciate feedback, but similarly, our customer care center is based locally. But certainly, again, we hear you and be happy to follow up with you for you to understand what the process like is at Nicor, because it's not that difficult for us. And if there's something that we're missing that you'd like to share, I think that's what we partner with our local elected officials, because that shows us an opportunity to not only connect through the traditional engagement with phone or online, but also one-on-one, right? And get that information and you can have that dialogue with you and how we continue to meet your needs. Because again, we not only service these communities, but we live in these communities. So we want you happy and know that we're here. So We don't want to create frustration.
They could have had a prompt, if none of these above apply, please press so-and-so. But they won't give you that, and they keep going back to the main menu, and it's the same prompts.
So I know that a few years prior to the pandemic, our automated system, it was, like you said, the constant rinse, wash, repeat. But after the pandemic, we really did have to change our operating. So I don't know how many cell phones with me. I can access everything on here, but also for my specific program, the Community Connection Center, we do have it available for customers who may be seniors, might not be comfortable with the internet, or simply don't have internet access. If they call into our customer service team, they will fill out that form and it automatically comes in to us, and then we in turn call the customer back. So for our particular group, we have a 24-hour turnaround, and then the system is constantly improving. So as you mentioned, today might be a little difficult, but for the most part, we don't have difficulty. We have emails. We still take mail-in applications, and we stopped that over 5 years ago. But if that's the way the customer sends it, we will most certainly
You
oblige.
have to put in your name, your password, and you have to open up an account. And I never know if I'm opening up an account on a fake site or a real site. And if you don't have kids around, you struggle all by yourself. If you have kids around, you know all this stuff.
Absolutely. In those instances, I would definitely, if you have any trouble systematically, the representatives, they are there. They can definitely assist you with setting up your My accounts online so that you can check this information, your usage and all of that without actually having to spend the time to call in. So when you do get in touch with a live person, ask them to go through and help you, and they will do it step by step.
I think too, what the gentleman said from ComEd, they know before even sometimes you know that your power's out. And even the app is old fashioned now, because I look up and I see who my neighbors are that don't have it too. You already know, I don't even need the app to know, to tell you they don't have power, because you know, and I can see it here. So it's, you know, you've gone beyond the apps now, you know what's going on, so I think that is very good. But yeah, it might be hard when you're trying to call somebody for some other reason other than a storm, but if your power goes out, they know.
Right, but I do encourage you, although you have smart meters, to call. Don't feel like you're being a pain. Call and report the outage. However, we will know. It is still very important that you report that outage. Yes, ma'am.
The franchises that are part of the Commonwealth Edison family, such as Constellation.
No. We are not part of Constellation.
What is
Constellation
a
is a
franchise
generator.
according to Commonwealth Edison? What is a franchise?
So we have sister companies. Exelon is a parent company. We have
Right.
sister companies. One of them, we have a company in Baltimore, Philadelphia, and in the Virginia, Maryland area.
Using the name Exelon?
Exelon, and we're all wires only. We're the utility. We only provide energy. As a matter of fact, we do not sell energy. We just deliver energy. You buy the energy from another company, or we buy it on your behalf, and whatever we pay for it, you pay for it. That doesn't mean we just go out willy-nilly and purchase. We find the best deal that we can, and whatever we pay for it, we pass that on to you. There is no upcharge for the electricity.
So what is a franchise then, according to the billing that comes through this Exelon company?
But do we have any additional questions about weathering through winter? What we're going to do over the course of the next 3 to 6 months? If not, I would love to ask one of my favorite mayors in the entire state of Illinois if he wants to come up and close us out.
I would like to thank you guys, Prospect Heights. Couldn't have better partners in the state legislature than Representative Canty or in Cook County with Commissioner Britton. So thank you guys for coming out and sponsoring this. It's appreciated. And you guys both do a great job for us. You always pick up the phone, go call, and we appreciate that. So you guys do a great job, and thank everybody for coming out. Thank you.
Thank you.